Christmas time is always a good occasion to revisit the Dr. Seuss classic, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. In our number one story tonight, a real-life version of the tale. You'll remember the illustrated fable that the Grinch, out of petty jealousy and equipped with a heart 2 sizes too small, decides to run a reverse Santa Claus on the Who's down in Whoville, breaking into their houses in the dark of night and stealing the presents and Christmas trees. Very first time it aired on CBS, it was sponsored by the Foundation for Full Service Banks. In a version of the tale reported in today's New York Times, the role of Grinch is played by, wait for it, a bank. In a lawsuit filed in California, homeowner Mimi Ash says that Bank of America not only wrongly foreclosed on her home, they tossed out everything in the place. All of her possessions were gone, reported the Times. Furniture, her son's ski medals, winter clothes, and family photos. Also missing was a wooden box, its top inscribed with the words "Together Forever" that contained the ashes of her late husband, Robert. Crazy as it sounds, Ash's story is not an isolated incident. The same article in the New York Times recounts several similar tales. And across the country, homeowners are discovering that banks' records of who owns what mortgages are either shot through with errors or, in many cases, simply non-existent. As we speak, thousands of years of the legal basis of property rights are being undermined, and nobody in Washington or Wall Street seems to care. Joining me now is Carlin Phillips, attorney for Mimi Ash and others suing over these foreclosure statements. Mr. Phillips, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I just want to say first, we asked Bank of America for a comment on this story. They responded with, quote, "Bank of America generally does not comment on pending litigation. We take the allegations made by Ms. Ash very seriously and are thoroughly researching her claims." Mr. Phillips, I want to ask you this because I think this story is so remarkable and outrageous, but I think you can read it and say to yourself, well, there's a lot of foreclosures in this country and crazy stuff happens. So is this an isolated incident?
Absolutely not. We've been handling these cases since February of this year. We must get between 2 and 10 inquiries a week of illegal lockouts and trash outs, primarily in the states of Michigan, Arizona, California, and Florida. And it's a rampant problem, cutting the corners and undermining the law throughout the country and proceeding and breaking into homes and disposing of possessions.
So what is the root of the problem here? I mean, I think the banks will tell you it's a paperwork problem, but is that what's the problem? If you're getting that many complaints, and I'm sure there's lawyers around the country who probably are, is there something deeper going on?
Yeah, the common denominator in all of these cases is the loan servicers. There's no more brick-and-mortar banks anymore. The mortgage industry is run by the loan servicers. They're a dysfunctional mess at this point all across the country. Their only rule they seem to be following is foreclose first and ask questions later. They see homeowners as the collateral damage of this great mortgage meltdown.
Finally, I want to ask you what you want to see policymakers at the state and federal level do to make sure these abuses aren't happening. I mean, what kind of intervention do we need to see legislatively to rein in this monstrous problem?
Well, first, we've seen this issue before, a booming industry with no internal checks and balances. Well, it's the same industry that got us into this mess, and it's going on again. We need an A to Z shakedown of the loan servicing industry. We see attorney generals in Nevada and Arizona have stepped up and filed cases just last week against Bank of America and its servicing entity, challenging some of their servicing practices. So there needs to be the spotlight shined on these servicers.
Attorney Carlin Phillips, thanks so much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it. Have a good holiday.
Thank you. Same to you.